Good Thursday afternoon, and thank you for joining us on KARE 11 News Now. I'm Rena Sargentopoulos. Happening right now, cameras and fencing are set up around the home of late State Representative Melissa Hortman after a break-in early Wednesday morning. Police are still looking for a suspect as the community mourns the killing of Hortman and her husband Mark over the weekend. Now authorities are asking neighbors to be on the lookout for anything suspicious, the same neighbors that are still reeling from the deaths of their friends.
It's a horrible, horrible deal that people would come now and desecrate their memory.
It's very sickening that someone would do this after what happened to her and her family. It's just terrible.
The man accused in the shooting, Vance Belter, is currently in the Hennepin County Jail. His bail is set at $5 million. He is set to be in court next week, but that could change if he is indicted before then. Very soon after we learn the suspected shooter's name, his work on a nonpartisan state workforce advisory board surfaced. And along with that, conspiracy theories about the shootings, a major one that Governor Tim Walz personally appointed Belter to the board. It's not true. It was actually former Governor Mark Dayton who appointed Belter. The board is volunteer-based, low profile, one of more than 100 boards across Minnesota with over 1,000 members. Former Governor Tim Pawlenty speaking out now, saying the appointees are not handpicked by the governor and that they require very little screening and that the claims otherwise are baseless and dangerous.
It pains me to see so many people grabbing little things and twisting them into conspiracies. It really varies. Most of the people who serve come from all walks of life across the state, and the governor, in most instances, wouldn't necessarily know these individuals. Well, I'm really saddened by sort of the state of our public discourse and our politics. And whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, or something else, we all need to do better and be better.
Vance Belter.
There's no word yet on whether this will affect how appointments to these boards are made in the future. Today, we are reflecting on Melissa Hortman's political legacy over more than 2 decades in public service. She spent her entire career in the Minnesota House and, as Danny Spiewak reports, commanded respect from both sides of the aisle.
It's absolutely inexcusable, and the jury.
As a young attorney, Melissa Hortman made her first bid for the Minnesota House in 1998. She lost that year and again in 2002 before finally breaking through in 2004.
I met Melissa Hortman when I was 18 years old.
Representative Zach Stevenson worked on Hortman's early campaigns and managed her successful 2004 election.
Melissa grew up in a working class community in Anoka County, and a lot of those values shaped her all the way through.
In her first years at the Capitol, Hortman pushed for Minnesota to host the Olympics.
Take a look at what goes into making a bid.
And argued for lower college costs.
And they're reeling from it.
After rising to House DFL Minority Leader in 2017, Hortman wasn't afraid to call out colleagues.
I'm really tired of watching women of color, in particular, being ignored.
Hortman became House Speaker in 2019 when the DFL took the majority.
I do.
And after the DFL swept control of the whole legislature in 2023, she led the party's efforts to protect abortion rights, legalize recreational marijuana, and implement paid family and medical leave.
There's been a lot of things we've been able to get done that we've been trying to do.
These were policies that Republicans like Lisa Demuth opposed.
Even though obviously we're not aligned politically on things, we had more in common than the things that we disagreed on.
When Demuth took over Speaker this year in a tied House, she modeled the role after Hortman.
That's the example that I have, and what a fabulous example of a leader.
Now, the House DFL and Hortman's former campaign manager, Zach Stevenson, must somehow move forward.
Because of Melissa's leadership style, where she invested in others, lifted other people up, gave other people opportunities, there's a host of people here at the Capitol who are ready to continue her work and make sure that her legacy lives on.
In her first campaign in 1998, Hortman ran on a platform of education funding. Last week, when we asked her proudest moment and her proudest accomplishment from the past session was, she said education funding, which will be preserved at the rate of inflation in this next budget. Right now, Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty says she is asking the federal government to let the state prosecute Vance Belter first. In a statement to KARE 11, a Hennepin County spokesperson said the office wants to prosecute immediately, but the U.S. Attorney's Office has the legal authority to decide whether a federal trial comes first. New this afternoon, President Donald Trump has extended the deadline for TikTok's parent company ByteDance to sell the video app to an American owner by another 90 days. It is the third time Trump has granted an extension to the Chinese company to sell its platform, and the new sell-by date is now September 17th. If the company does not sell to an American company, TikTok will no longer be able to operate in the U.S. Some lawmakers believe TikTok poses major national security concerns and lets the Chinese government spy on American citizens. Happening right now, Juneteenth celebrations all across the country, and in Minnesota, one of the biggest celebrations is happening in Minneapolis with a parade on Broadway and the Soul of the South Side Festival on Minnehaha and East Lake Street. Jessica Hart has more of the celebration.
Hey, it's a little hot, but you know what? The music's going, we're feeling good. So, welcome to Soul of the South Side here in South Minneapolis. There's so much going on here. We have live music, a DJ, food trucks, and we're in this really cool art zone. Take a look at some of this stuff. This is vibe art right here. Just look at some of these incredible paintings and canvases of really strong black women here. We have a young little girl in a tutu playing the piano. So cute. People are selling t-shirts. They're selling digital prints. There's just so many different things you can find, books. And this event started in 2022 here, and this is 2025, so it's become an annual event. This year's theme is the family, a revolutionary force centering black voices and contributions. And so this event kicked off at around noon this morning, but it goes all the way until 8 this evening. So you've got plenty of time to come down here and check out some of this incredible art here. And our own Jason Hackett's going to be here. He's going to be over the live music stage, so maybe we'll find him a little later and check in. But for now, I'll send it back to you.
Happening right now, southern Mexico taking cover as Hurricane Eric batters the region. Eric making landfall as a Category 3 storm in the western region of Oaxaca with winds around 125 miles per hour. It is the most powerful hurricane to hit Mexico in the month of June ever. Developing right now, more than 200 people are hurt after Iranian drone strikes destroy a hospital in southern Israel. Israeli officials say the hospital took a direct hit from a missile, but hospital officials were preparing for something like this for days and have been putting patients underground and in the hospital's parking garage. For now, the fighting is still raging on, with the possibility of the U.S. getting involved with launches and launching strikes on Iran. Some very intense video today showing a massive explosion of a SpaceX rocket in Texas. It happened as the Starship was preparing for its 10th test flight, sending a massive fireball into the dark Texas sky. SpaceX says the rocket experienced a, quote, major anomaly before starting the test flight around 11 last night. In a social media post, the company said employees are safe and there is no hazard to nearby residents. Developing right now, the University of Minnesota approving its budget, which does include its largest tuition hike in more than a decade. It also includes cuts to many school programs. Joe McCoy has the latest.
Okay, the motion passes 9-3.
With that vote Wednesday afternoon, the University of Minnesota Board of Regents approved the school's $5.1 billion budget for fiscal year 2026.
It is easy to be in these seats in years where there is excess money. This is not one of them.
U of M President Rebecca Cunningham says higher education is facing unprecedented challenges right now, and that the U of M is among universities across the country making difficult budget decisions.
The university received no increase in state funding from the state of Minnesota for the first time in decades, and our university has experienced over $40 million cuts and rising from the federal government.
The budget includes a 6.5% tuition increase for undergraduate in-state students at both its Twin Cities and Rochester campuses. That increase is 7.5% for out-of-state students. The budget also includes 7% cuts to programs across the board.
My biggest concern about this is that it will have acute impact on the students that we feel like need the most help.
Regents board member Bo Taburabwe was one of the 3 no votes Wednesday. President Cunningham says low-income students will not feel the tuition increase due to the state's North Star Promise program that provides up to 100% free tuition at Minnesota state colleges and universities for students whose families earn less than $80,000 a year.
In my 6 years on the Board of Regents, it's the most difficult budget I've ever had to confront.
President Cunningham says the university is committed to providing an affordable and accessible education. The budget also includes a 3% pay increase for employees based on merit, which the university says will help retain top talent. Stick with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.